Okay, last time we were at track practice and they were running those fartleks, remember? Where it was like you run at 80% and then for like 100 meters you run at 100%. And Ghost got really tired doing it because he went full out on like the fifth one and they were running 12 or something. And he totally destroyed himself. But then we saw that his teammates like encouraged him and picked him up. So that's where we are. And that's how it was every Monday after. Every other day during the week was similar, but with a different routine. Coach had it set up so that we always knew what we were doing at practice every day. That way, if he was late or Coach Witt wasn't around, Aaron could, run the workout for the team. So it went like this: Mondays, fartleks, which meant an afternoon of running my legs to death and an evening of boiling them back to life. Tuesdays, technique, how to come off the blocks. Elbows in, open your stride, head up, back straight, glide, don't wobble, be a horse, not a penguin, run through the line, not to the finish line, blah, blah, quack, quack, wah, wah, on the line, whistle, whistle, over and over and over again. Wednesdays, ladders, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, also known as don't eat a big lunch day. Going from 4 to 1 was rough, but most of us could crush it, even me. It was heading back up the ladder that was killer. Go down, go up, throw up. The absolute worst. Thursdays, long run. Every week, a different route. Once I was finally able to keep up, it was kind of cool being part of the train of runners zooming down the sidewalk, dodging people and bus stop benches and fire hydrants and trash bags with the motivation mobile trailing behind. My only fear was that one day Coach Witt would lead us on the wrong route, the route that went past the sporting goods store, where I was probably a wanted fugitive. Sure, I could just turn my head or shield it with my shirt, pretend to wipe the sweat, and nobody would know it was me. But the shoes, there was no disguising them. That girl Tia would know the sparkle of the silver bullets. Easy. Luckily, we never went that day. Fridays, everybody's favorite day. Off, thank God. I'd pretty much gotten used to everything and everybody. Me and Mikey, mumbling stuff. Aaron, the captain of the team, acting like the captain of the team. Which at first I wasn't so sure I was going to be okay with. I mean, the guy had a big mouth. Like, a big. But he knew how to keep everybody together and motivated, which could get hard when you're on the side puking your guts out. And then there was the four of us, the newbies, our special gang. Had gotten used to Patty and Lou snapping on each other and arguing all the time. I'd gotten used to Sonny quoting some spacey book that nobody had ever read, or saying something real cool, but it's so out there they don't really even know why it's cool, but it's cool. As a matter of fact, I think that's the record he holds. He holds the record for saying, sorry, he holds the record for saying the coolest, what in the world is he talking about sayings? Definitely. I'd even gotten used to Coach on my back every day about my homework, which I usually got done during the ride home. And whatever I didn't, I finished while Ma was zoning into the cheesy movie of the night. Even Coach's stupid whistle and the constant shouting of, "On the line!" became just as normal as sunflower seeds from Mr. Charles's store. I had gotten used to it all, and I was pretty sure that they had all gotten used to me, so everything was cool. Maybe the coolest it had ever been. But uniform day changed everything. Oh man, don't you always feel like in books and movies, things are going well, and you're like feeling good, you're like, yeah, and then right when they're going good and you're feeling the best, something's about to happen. Oof, I hate that. It stresses me out. Sometimes when I watch shows like that, I have to look away, even though it's not scary. It's just I can't stand the tension. Oh, anyway. But Uniform Day changed everything. Uniform Day was the day when Coach was going to give us our jerseys and shorts. He had been talking about this day for 2 weeks, going on and on about how Uniform Day was important because it meant you were officially on the team. It was the last piece to the puzzle. And I wanted that piece. I mean, I had traded running in my jeans for a pair of cut-off scrubs I got from my mom. But that was like running in a pair of drawers. And when I got the sweating, man, straight up gross. So a uniform sounded amazing. An actual uniform, just like baseball teams, except for a track team. Yes. Coach showed up at practice carrying the box. He dropped it on the track in front of us as we bent and stretched, getting ready for the usual Tech Tuesday routine work. I was going to practice coming off the blocks because it was where I needed the most help. It felt weird not to just stand up straight and run when I heard the whistle. But to bend down and press my feet against the metal, that metal thing, was way weird. "Bring it in," Coach said. "As you all know, our very first meet of the season is this Saturday. You've worked hard these past few weeks, and I'm proud of you. So you get to get you excited about smoking everybody this weekend, I'm going to give out this year's Defender uniforms." We clapped it up as Coach folded the cardboard flaps of the box back. "When I call your name, come get your uniform and put it with your stuff. And give me some warm-up laps," he said. Then, one by one, he called each runner forward. I was standing next to Lou, and when Coach called his name, I gave him a "way to go" nudge. He grabbed his gear, then jogged back and gave me 5. The jersey which he held up was electric blue with gold letters across the front. Defenders. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Underneath the word was a picture of a fist clenching a wing. It would go perfect with the silver bullets. I liked it. No, I loved it. "Sweet," Lou sang out. "Man," I said, not really believing how good it looked. Coach called out name after name. Outlaw, Speed, Lancaster, Farrar, Bullock, Fulmer, McNair. And after every name, I'd say to myself, waiting, Cranshaw, 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 Tate, Cranshaw, Hayes, Cranshaw. But Coach went on and on until he got to the last uniform, my uniform. But he never called my name. "That's it," Coach said. "That's it?" I knew my eyes were bugging. "That's it?" Everybody was checking their jerseys out, putting them in their bags, or jogging around the track, but I was still waiting. "What about me?" I asked. I didn't understand what was going on. Where were my shorts, my jersey? Where was my uniform? "Oh," Coach said, as if suddenly remembering that he had left me out. But how could he have left me out? I had proven myself. I was pretty much the best sprinter on the team, at least one of them. Whatever. Didn't matter, I thought, because I had reminded him. "Oh, right. I have something for you, Ghost," Coach said, digging back in the box. When he pulled his hand from the brown cardboard, he wasn't holding no electric blue dopeness. Instead, he was holding a piece of paper folded into a small square. "What's this?" I asked. "Unfold it and see," Coach said, his face changing, falling into that familiar look of disappointment, the way Principal Marshall's face does whenever I've had an altercation. I unfolded the piece of paper as quickly as I could because what the... And what I found on that piece of paper was the most shocking thing ever. It was a picture of me, dashing from the sports store, a close-up of my face, and underneath it, in red, big bold red, was the word shoplifter. I looked up at Coach. My tongue had suddenly turned into a stone in my mouth. I couldn't breathe, like I had just finished running ladders, like I was going to yak up every sunflower seed I had ever eaten. And if there was ever a sunflower growing in me, it was definitely dying right then. I went to go pick up the uniforms at the sporting goods store. And guess whose photo was taped to the window? I didn't say nothing. I couldn't. Guess! Coach insisted, forcing me to say it, but I just couldn't. He snatched the paper back, ripped it into confetti. That's your uniform, Coach said, holding his hand open so I could see the white confetti. And since you can't wear this, he turned his hand over and let the paper fall to the ground like awkward snowfalls. You can't run. So take your silver shoes and have a seat. Wait, Coach, sit, he shouted, pointing at the wooden bench. Everybody looked at me as I started walking, but they weren't laughing, and instead just seemed shocked and concerned, which was probably the only reason I didn't take off running away from the track and off to the basketball court or Mr. Charles's or any place else. Instead, I did as Coach asked me and sat down. And for the rest of you, mind your business, Coach warned the team. If I hear anything about this, anything at all, you can give your uniform right back. Am I clear? The team, shook about the prospect of having to hand over their sweet new jerseys, grumbled and started doing their warm-up laps. Woo! Mama, is that part intense. Man, can you imagine Ghost? Can you imagine that? Coach holding up the picture of him stealing the shoes. I don't know if you've ever seen that at stores, but oftentimes at stores they'll if people have shoplifted, they'll take a picture from the security footage and they'll tape it up and they'll be like shoplifters, just so if that person ever comes in, the employees will recognize them. And I think that's what happened to Ghost. You know what it reminded me of, though? You know how Ghost did that weeks ago, and he thinks he's probably in the clear, but he thinks about it all the time. But when I was in the 4th grade, I had this teacher, Miss Ford, and she was always getting on my case. I was always getting in trouble. And I got a detention one day for just fooling around in class and talking too much or whatever. And when you got a detention, you got a little piece of paper that went home and your parents signed it, and then you stayed after school for 30 minutes, the next day. But since my parents worked, no one was at home, so they wouldn't know. It was just my brother, and my brother was always doing whatever, whatever big brothers do. So I took the note and I signed it, and I handed it to my teacher, and I served my detention, and nobody ever knew. And I didn't want to tell my parents because I was really into bowling. I was in a bowling league, and I was one of the best bowlers in the league, and I just loved bowling. And I had already gotten in trouble that year, and my parents had told me that if I got in trouble again, I wouldn't be able to bowl. So I didn't want to stop bowling. So anyway, I hand this slip in. I served my detention. This is October, and no one ever says nothing. They don't say anything. But I think about it every day. I remember laying in bed, and I would dream about it. I would think about it. I remember one night, I don't know, at the end of October, right after Halloween, my mom came in to say goodnight, and I was like, Mom? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I got something to tell you. She's like, oh yeah? And I was about to tell her, and then I didn't. I was like, yeah, Mom, the window's leaking. I said something stupid, whatever. So anyway, a whole month goes by, and every night I'm shaking in my boots. I can't stop thinking about it. And parent-teacher conferences come right before Thanksgiving. And so our house was right across the street from the school, and I'll never forget that night. My mom went by herself, and I was in the living room with my dad watching a Milwaukee Bucks game, and my mom was gone kind of a long time. And then I would like peek out the window, and I remember I peeked out and I saw my mom walking across the street and up the front yard, and it was like there was steam coming out of her ears, and she came in and she was like, Ian Labert, yelled my name and told my dad what I had done. And my brother was like, oh my God, you are such an idiot. And they like sent him to the basement. Oh, it was the worst. So to me, even though what I did wasn't even as bad as what Ghost did, I can understand that feeling of having done something and then living with it for so long and just waiting for that moment to come. So, that's what I think of. Anyway, sorry for that long story, but what I'd like you to do is just talk about what you think will happen with Ghost. Is he off the team? What will Coach do? What comes next? I mean, Coach is mad, so I'm curious what you think is going to happen. All right, I can't wait to hear about it. And also, if you have a short story that's similar to how Ghost is feeling or to the one I shared, write it on down. I'd love to hear it. Okay, see ya.